Welcome to the Getting High on Leadership series featuring Paul Karasik. Paul is one of America's top management consultants helping leaders succeed. He is the author of 9 books, including Sweet Persuasion and Brilliant Thoughts and Provocative Questions. His insights appear regularly in major publications, and he is one of the most sought-after executive coaches. Paul founded the American Seminar Leaders Association and the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles. He is a popular speaker at national conferences and has been on stages across all 50 states and internationally. Paul's work addresses the question, how can we transform conflict in business into collaboration? With decades of experience in management, leadership, and psychedelics, he brings a unique perspective on personal and societal growth. In this series, we'll be discussing his latest book, Getting High on Leadership, The Leader's Guide to Higher Consciousness. We'll be exploring the concepts, techniques, and mindset required to revolutionize leadership. Enjoy.
All right, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the series. Once again, my name is Rob Sanchez. I am your host, and we're joined with Paul Karasik, the author of Getting High on Leadership. And we're stepping through this section by section, and today we're looking at section 7, I believe, and it's called The Perfect Mindset. Paul, where can we begin with mindset?
It's obvious that what we bring mentally into any situation has a big effect on the outcome. So when a leader's in a leadership position, what they want is results. So what is the mindset that brings the most results? That's really the question we're asking right now. And, there's a lot of stuff around on this, right? I mean, people say, well, visualize. I was talking with somebody the other day about sports visualization. So the perfect mindset should be visualize the end result, and which is fine. And I think anything positive is going to lead to a more positive result. That's obvious. The most effective and most powerful mindset that any leader can have is 3 words. I don't know. Because if when you think about where does good stuff come, I've kind of led my whole career like tracking results and saying, how did we get those results? How did mindset, how did consciousness come into this? What was the consciousness when the result happened, and so on? Because when you think about it, you don't know. You don't know. If I said, how did you meet your partner, your significant other? Well, I knew I wanted to get married. I wanted to meet somebody. I wanted to be with somebody, settle down. But you really didn't have that. It was how you met the person is usually way out of your control.
Definitely. And I mean, for a leader to say that they don't know or to use those 3 words, I think is sometimes much more rare than it should be in organizations that I've been part of. And those leaders are often not as fun to work alongside or as inspiring to kind of work for either. And it's not that leaders need to be wrong. It's just that I think it is having that layer of humility that you're not too proud to display or not too maybe too anxious to let be visible. I think that provides so much security and can help others in shifting their mindset and kind of finding your tune.
Well, it goes back to something we'll talk about later in the book, and that's the leader is part of the team, right? I mean, it's just one member of the team, but it's in that position. The leader's part of the team, and so you want to bring the team in, and the leader doesn't have to know everything. That's the important message in this chapter. The leader doesn't have to know. The leader has to know how to get to know everything. So if I have a computer company and I'm doing chips, then I got to get the person that knows about. I don't have to know about chips. I have to find the person that knows about chips. I don't know. So right. I don't know serves on so many levels. It serves on how you hire people. It serves how you respond to people. And you said it, a leader that professes to know everything is just no fun. You don't want
If
to
you find
work for them.
yourself in those conversations, you end up just kind of like, okay, yep, yes, sir.
Yeah, because you don't want to be in that energy zone of like, wow, because that's not life. One of the things that I've spent part of my career on is helping high-level sales executives. And when we analyze where the big deals come from, we see all the time that they didn't come from the activity, the phone calls, the meetings, the things that you think, oh, if I do this, I do this. I know that if I make these calls the thing comes from the I don't know.
And I've seen that happen in sales. I've seen that happen in getting new jobs or new roles, where applying for jobs the way that you think I want to work for this company may not pan out near as quick as just realizing who you know already, or reaching out to companies directly, or advertising on a platform or service, just saying I'm open for work, right?
Let's see what
Let that
comes.
provide. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what comes, as opposed to saying this is how it has to be delivered. I look at pivotal things in my career and I go, yeah, I was working, I was busy, I was doing the right things, but almost every time it comes from the world of I don't know. It was a chance meeting. It was I remember one of my first career opportunities happened at a meeting that I shouldn't have even been at. Like like it, like
You were bringing someone coffee, huh?
yeah, I shouldn't have even been in. They said, oh, they're looking for consultants for this particular project, this big corporate project. And everything stemmed from that. Everything in my career stemmed from that. And if I hadn't
Wow.
gone to that meeting and met that person, um, you know, how things happen. I
Yeah.
remember, again, an early career thing. This is many years ago. I said, geez, I really want to do this work, helping people, helping companies. And I didn't know where to start. And I knew I wanted to work more in the corporate arena. And I said, I just want to do these programs. I just feel compelled. I have something to say. They can help the companies. And I didn't know where to start. I didn't know anybody in the corporate world. My family comes from small business and that type of thing. We don't have any
I see.
connection to that world. It's professionals, small business, that type of thing. And so I signed up for the Maine Marathon, 26.2 miles up in Maine along the coast, really beautiful. And so we start the race. And so I'm with this guy, and we started, we're in the same pace. So we start talking, and what do you want to do the run in? And what are you shooting for? PR, regular runner talk type stuff. And then we get into it. And remember, I'm at the beginning of my career, but I'm still like doing stuff. And all of a sudden he says, I'm head of the human services for the state of New Hampshire. And we'd love to bring in a program like that. This is what we're running.
Right. Man, you would not,
Right.
so if you would have just set your mindset to like, I'm simply running today, I'm not open
Right.
to
I
this
don't know
kind of
where. Yeah,
conversation or trying to meet anyone.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, so here we are about mile 14, and he says, I live here, and my friend's house is a mile away, and I'm going to stop there. We're going to have lunch. I'm not running the whole marathon, which is pretty common. It happens in marathons. You just want to get out, do a nice run with a bunch of people. So we were going to sign off. Right now, we're like war buddies, right? We've been through 2 hours together of
Yeah.
running, whatever, through these, up and down these mountains and hills and stuff. And he says, well, I'm going to leave in a second. I said, I've got a program for you that we could do at the Human Services Division in the state of New Hampshire. And he goes, oh, I'd love that. And so we're running. Now, picture we're running. We don't have pens or paper or anything. And it's like, how am I going to contact? I'm not going to remember the number, right? I'm not going to quit the marathon. I'm in a little bit of a bind here, right? So this is all happening, right? Here's my first shot at a thing. At that moment, my friend had a VHS camera. He says, hey, Paul, you're doing great. And I'm still running with my friend. And I said, what's your number? He goes, 607. I yelled to my buddy, 607. He had it on videotape. We go back to my friend's house the next day. We put the videotape on, and there's the number. I call him up, and I get my first job. Now, who could have choreographed all of the things that had to come into effect? Because if my friend wasn't there, I wasn't going to stop and start writing notes, and I'm sweating. It would have been gone. I needed contact information, and he wasn't going to be at the finish line. He was stopping in his friend's house, so I didn't know. So this was the only opportunity. Like, you understand what I'm saying, Rob? That the I don't know allows for all those magical things to happen.
Yeah. It kind of opens you up to the unknown.
It
keeps the mystery alive.
Yeah,
and it's a good thing in this case.
It's a good thing, because your entire view of the life is so limited. You don't know about you didn't know that my friend was going to be there at mile 14. You didn't know that this guy. It was all in the I don't know. I don't know what this day is going to, and this. If I asked you to think of a situation, I bet you would come up with one.
Yeah, definitely. Even on the job side, just in some of the initial roles I had in cannabis, as the industry formed, really came from reaching out and bumping into connections or realizing I knew someone that was already in a company, even though I was submitting just stacks of resumes. It seemed like that constant effort of submitting the resume was like draining my energy and my inspiration, to move into a new career. And then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I could just reach out to this CEO and ask him a question. And that's actually how the first cannabis job got started, where before that for months I was just sending resumes and kind of twiddling my thumbs waiting, and I thought I was doing the right thing, I guess. And even in work in product management, when you're doing innovation and building a new feature in that problem space, there's this energy there, I think, or this kind of mindset in the problem space, that if you start forcing that and you say, hey, everyone on the call, we need a solution to XYZ right now before we go. And it's the most important thing. And you're bringing that to the table with an energy, a force to it. The solution you get is going to be almost made out of fear and going to be like the first thing that someone thought of, and then the rest of the group will just latch onto that because you're coming in
definitely
like you're bringing the wrong energy to the conversation. But if you have a more collaborative approach to that problem space and let people talk about the problem and spin it around, you'll often see that innovation or that creativity appear. And then to really look back and say, how did that appear? I think it's this passage is perfect for that, because you can't say, wow, when Jeff said this one thing, that was it. It's really more like the whole conversation, the problem space itself led to it.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I don't know is the secret to that. As soon as there's a concept called universal consciousness, which I believe, and I think we've all experienced, which is getting access to one of the phenomena about universal consciousness, and this is historic and documented, that many times the same invention is created in different places. Steel wool, incredible invention, appeared almost the exact same moment on two different, like in Europe and the US, two different patents. Because people are accessing universal consciousness, right? This pool of individualized consciousness that is part of the bigger pool, almost like, let's say, a cup of water. If you had a cup and you put it in the ocean and filled it with water, the water would be in the cup, but the water is still part of the ocean, right? Still part of the bigger entity, right? So it's the same in this scenario. We have individualized consciousness that we can access information, intelligence, and so on. But that intelligence is part of this greater universal intelligence, which is accessing what we're talking about right now. the many paths and the way things can come about, which we don't know, right? I mean,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to work. I knew I wanted to be bringing corporate people some of the ideas, concepts, strategies, techniques that I had seen work. I had the business going, but I didn't know how I was going to get my first opportunity. I didn't know how or where or any of that stuff. My job was just getting it ready, and in effect, the universe's job was to put that runner there that day, and my friend with the video camera, taping it, at this exact moment he was leaving the trail to go to his friend's house.
Yeah, man, synchronicity right there.
You
And
can't, the individualized mind, and I'm asking anybody who's watching this video right now to please don't believe me. Just look at your own record and your own history of how events have transpired in terms of what you wanted and how you got it. I started to give you the example of the salespeople. Sales is an activity-based process. It depends upon activity, and activity plays a big role in results. Fact. Okay. Fact. So I get these guys. They get it. They get it. Oh, if I make more calls, I make more business. They get it, right? They're smart. But then, so we get them making more calls. Boom, 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 boom. And then we get on a coaching call and I say, hey, how'd you do? And say, I got the biggest client, huge piece of business, and it's going to grow into something else. And I said, was it on your calling routine? And they go, no. I say, how did it happen? Because I'm teaching them about calling, right? I'm teaching them about all the metric, all the elements involved with it. So, they said, no, that wasn't part of that. I said, where'd it come from? Oh, it came from over here. It came from over here. There is a connection between how we set our mindset and the universal consciousness. If we say we know everything, then there's no opening for that universal consciousness to come in.
right.
But if we say we have all the business we need no business, then I have to make more phone calls. But if we make the phone calls, it puts us into the right mindset. So what I'm saying to you is, you can't stop doing the things that you're doing that you think will create the result, because that's part of creating the mindset. But what I want you to do.
So that's reinforcing the mindset. It's more about not focusing 100% on that effort and trying to turn some of that awareness outward or towards the unknown while you maintain that.
You maintain
maintain
what I think is going to get the result. But I'm asking everybody to understand, and just, again, don't believe me. Just track your own life history and say, where did I meet my significant other? Where did that big deal come from? How much did I play into that? And how much did the I don't know play into it? And I'm telling you that everybody is going to start to see that we have to keep this I don't know. And to your point is, you create a much better team when you don't come in as a big know-it-all, to get really connected to how much you don't know. Is the message of this thing, especially about how to get results. You think you know, but you don't know.
Yes,
and
the unknown unknowns.
And stay with that. So,
excellent, Paul. Well, thank you, man. There's been an enlightening conversation on this one. Folks, please read along, take a look at your own lives, the big breaks that you've received or big moments in your life, and try to pinpoint maybe what that was that got there, and you'll kind of see this mindset or this kind of universal awareness that we're discussing alongside leadership today. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Getting High on Leadership series. If you have any questions, you can comment below or send them in via email to paul@paulkarasik.com. Follow him on Instagram at PK_the conversation. Find out more at wholesalerinstitute.com and psychedelic-awakening.com. The Getting High on Leadership series is produced by Rob Sanchez and Apartment 113 which can be found at apartment113.com and followed on Instagram at APT_113.